Welcome back to the Bernard Lee Poker Show. We are talking with the 2003 World Series main event champion, our good friend, Chris Moneymaker. He recently parted ways with his sponsor of 17 years, Poker Stars, of course, after he won the 2003 World Series through a satellite with Poker Stars, but has now recently become one of the ambassadors and pros of America's Cardroom. Chris, incredible run with Poker Stars, right? I mean, just an amazing experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be there from the beginning with Mark and Isai and then go to where we are now has been this really a surreal experience to say the least. I mean, we went from a small mom and pop organization essentially to a multi-billion dollar corporation, and I got to go along for the ride the entire way. Um, and along the way, I met a lot of incredible people, worked with a lot of incredible people. Was really happy with the company. I mean, when it came to the pandemic, they were very supportive. They, let me sit at home, not do anything, and they were still taking care of me. So, I mean, it was a great relationship, and I still have tons of friends there, and I really appreciate everybody that works there. And it wasn't anything that they did while I left.
Right.
I was uh, coming up on the end of my contract, and we were renegotiating, and they were basically saying, okay, well, you know, we're starting to open up in these states, so can you go spend some time in these states and play there or move there potentially, trying to look to get me more involved, I guess, in
Right.
the actual product, because I've been sitting at home for 6 months not doing anything, and obviously it makes sense if I'm going to represent a brand that I'm going to be on that brand. um, so talking with my wife and everything, we had talked about getting an apartment up there in Philadelphia, and also maybe potentially moving up there. But my kids, we've been here for a long time, so we
Sure.
determined after a short period of time, that's not something we really wanted to do, was to move. And around this time, we had a couple things going on. We had I was doing really well on America's Card Room, just playing, on that, kind of quietly, just grinding out, and I'd hit a couple big scores, hit a couple big tournaments, and when I made a final table of their Venom, which is their big $8 million guarantee. And when I did that, I got the owner's attention. It's like, hey, are you really who I think you are? Are you Chris? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, cool. I'm a huge fan. Whatever. So we started talking and uh, sort of developing a friendship after that.
Right.
And as from that point on, as I'm talking with Poker Stars about renewal, and then he's like, hey, any interest in coming and working with us? And he sort of showed me what everything that they're doing and all the strides that they're making on their side to you know get rid of the bots and take care of the um, cancellations that they've had, where they had some issues in the past where tournaments got canceled and they had to refund players, and just all the strides they had been making, and then what their future plans were. And so I was left with a really difficult decision, in around October's timeframe. I could stay with a company that I've been with for 17 years, and they've treated me really well, and um, again, really great people, really strong company. Or I could go off and try this new adventure with a brand new company, start from scratch, essentially building up from what we had with Poker Stars back in 03, 04, more of a mom and pop operation that's a little bit smaller, where I'm actually in communication with the owner. And so the deciding factor for me was the fact that I could reach out and make change.
Right.
With Poker Stars, by that point, they weren't really asking for Team Pro's opinions anything about anything really anymore. It was, here's your thing, go do it, and that was essentially it. Here's your interview, go do your interview, whatever. Where now I can pick up the phone and talk to the owner and say, hey, I think we need to, cut down on the late reg time, or we have this issue. And
Right.
they're very responsive, and like they're the most updated site. They update all the time. Like every month, there's a new update coming out that's going to fight bots, change things, adding bomb pots, taking away late reg, shortening that time. There's so many different things that we want to do, but they're always changing things consistently. And I'd like to be able to have input in that and be able
Yep.
to interact with the owner. And one of the biggest things for me too personally was they operate in the United States
Yeah,
and
of
in an
course.
era where I don't have to leave my family. So I'm able to actually stream and be a part of the company and help this company grow. And after talking with Phil and everybody down there, I really believe in this company. I think that they're doing great things. They have the best interests of the players at heart. They have some of the best tournaments going on. We have some cool promotions coming out. Um, so at the end of the day, I decided it was time to take a leap, try something new. Again, I've been with Poker Stars for 17, 18 years. Um, and it was just time. This is a new adventure, and I took it on. And I remember making the phone call to Poker Stars saying I was leaving. They're like, "Well, what? Wait, what?" Like
Right.
they were obviously very surprised, but they're also very supportive, which was really cool. They're like, what, we wish you the best.
Yeah.
It's been a great run, and it was we left on really good terms. Um, and now that I'm with ACR, it's been phenomenal. The feedback has been, I want to say, 99% really really good. And there's been a lot of changes made, and we're also going to be making a lot more changes. As you know, we have Randy Liu that's helped fighting the collusion and bots and things like that. And he's doing a fantastic job. We're expanding our team pro, much like some of the other sites like GG and Party Poker. They're expanding their team pro stable, and so is ACR. And really just couldn't be happier with the direction that we're going and the promotions that we have coming out. And yeah, so it's an exciting time, to be 45 and starting a brand new job in your life. It can be a little bit scary, I guess, but
Right.
and the decision to leave that comfort zone was difficult, but I'm really happy that I did, and it's given me a new passion for playing and for one trying to improve my game because I know I'm gonna be streaming, I'm gonna be playing online again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
two and two just to have my voice heard and be part of the community and help the community hopefully build a really good site.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure you just clarify a couple of things. You had said that you weren't able to talk with the owners, et cetera. I want to make sure that everyone realizes that this is just part of the expansion of poker. PokerStars has become a behemoth now. It's not this mom and pop like you said, and it's not that they wouldn't talk with you. It's more of there are a lot of
Oh,
layers now, and it's just harder. And they sold the company, and it's just reiteration, et cetera. So again, I want to make sure that we're not people misinterpret that and think that you were saying negatively to stars. That's not the case. It was just more of that's just the way the company is now. It's a behemoth, right?
yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that they didn't value my opinion or
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
could that
Right.
I couldn't, make suggestions.
Right.
It's just honestly, like you said, it's a massive company. So
Right.
if there was something like, hey, we need to do this, well, you're going to tell this person who's going to tell this person, and
Right.
it's going to move up the chain.
Exactly.
There's pay. So if I want to go play a poker tournament, back in the old days with Poker Stars, I'd pick up the phone. Hey, Esai, I want to go play the main event.
Sure.
Can I get a buy-in? Yeah, go have fun. If I want to do something with Poker Stars now, let me check your contract. Let's go through and fill out the forms and send it up, and we'll get back with you in a week or so.
Right.
Um, and they would always come back with a yes, but at the same time, it was just a lot of paper. It was a lot of extra steps.
Right.
To where
And
now
as we said, understandably, they are a big company right now. Right. But
it's
whereas with ACR, it's
but that's
almost
going to
like
be with
rewind time.
any company that you have that's going to be the
Exactly.
size of Poker Stars. You're going to have these
Exactly.
steps.
Right.
As companies grow, they put in these protocols that
Right.
so they have to do accounting and they have to do all this other stuff. Where when you have the smaller operation, you can pick up the phone and be like, oh, there's a couple guys making decisions, and yeah, we think this is a good decision, and we're
Right.
going to go with it. And they can just move a lot faster. Where again, if we want to change something on at Poker Stars, you're going to have to get a lot of people to sign off and a lot of meetings and a lot of a lot of stuff has to happen to make
Right.
something
Right.
change.
Right.
But ACR, if we decide, yeah, we just want to add a late night tournament, we'll just add a late night tournament. We'll just do it.
Right. Right.
Um,
And I think that that's phenomenal for you, is that you kind of can go back to your roots of really kind of making an impact, like you said, like you did with Stars so many years ago, and obviously have molded Stars to at the beginning to now eventually what it is. And then, like you said, I think the biggest thing that I'm sure made such a big difference is you don't have to go anywhere. You literally roll out in your pajamas and are now online playing, and you go from there.
well,
It's
my
great.
kids have soccer games tonight, and 2 years ago, I never got to see them play soccer. I missed birthdays, I missed Halloween, I missed so much stuff being on the road. Part of it was Poker Stars, and part of it was, you know, at the end of the day, you don't know in this industry, especially, how long you're going to have. And once you're in poker for as long as me and you have been in poker,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of things you're doing outside of poker. I mean,
Right.
like if I were to go get my resume together, um, there's not a whole lot I'm qualified to do. Let's just face it. I mean, it's not some. I'm not going to go find a job somewhere making what I'm making now.
Right.
So I was always pushing to capitalize. I played a lot of small tournaments. One, because they were fun, but two, um, I'm trying to protect and be prepared for the future, because
Right.
again, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know, you know, Black Friday was a huge wake up call to everybody in the industry.
Of
It
course.
changed everything, and it really made you be aware of this can all change in the blink of an
Right.
eye with
Right. Right.
outside of your control.
Right.
And now, we had the pandemic where now all because we've all transitioned to live poker. I mean, online had been stagnant because Black Friday, you couldn't play in the US, whatever. So you had to go play live. So you learned how to play live poker. Well, then you have a pandemic happen, and all of a sudden now you can't play live poker anymore. So so now what are we gonna do?
Right.
Um, so you just don't know what's going to happen in this industry, and there's no guarantees that you're going to have a job tomorrow.
Right.
So I was always out trying to make sure that my family was provided for, and making sure that my kids got the best, and took care of the family.
Yep.
Um, so now I get a little bit more freedom as far as I can work and to be productive, but I can do it from home, where I couldn't
Right.
do that with Poker Stars.
Right.
And that
No.
was really, like you said, the deciding factor for me was, I can go watch my kids play soccer tonight and do this and work during the day and still have my night to do things with them.
Right. And it's fantastic that you have found that opportunity. You had mentioned Phil Nagy, who is the CEO of America's Cardroom, and now you are becoming the face, obviously, of America's Cardroom.
God, it's a good looking face too.
A
A little bit heavier.
A little heavier, 60 pounds, like you said. But talk a little bit about some of the big tournaments. Talk about Venom. For people who have not heard about America's Cardroom and Venom, I mean, when I heard about these, wow, who would, in the world of America online poker, to have first prize $1 million. This is life-changing money. It's significant. Talk a little bit about what Venom is, and how often these tournaments appear on America's Cardroom.
So the Venom is the big. It's basically our big series. It's our big tournament, not series. It's our big tournament, and it happens every 3 or 4 months. So our next one's coming up in April. It's going to be the $5 million Venom. It's a little bit smaller than because it's a progressive knockout tournament. So if you like knockout tournaments, it's going to be a knockout tournament where you get more money for every person you knock out, and it's a $5 million guarantee. The first one we had went off really well. This is about the fifth or sixth iteration of the Venom. They've grown from guarantee to guarantee. The last one we just did had an $8 million guarantee. We're pushing to have a $10 million guarantee after the April, the PKO. We're going to go back to a regular Venom. That's going to probably be in June, July timeframe. We'll have another Venom. But we also have a ton of like series going on at all times. So right after the Venom was finished, we had the Moss, which is the mini online series of poker. So if you're a low stakes guy, you're a grinder trying to build your bankroll, you're trying to hit it big, you can play the Moss. It's going to be small buy-ins up to like 15, $30. There was a 2-week series of that we had. Right now, we're about ready to wrap up the OSS, which is medium stakes, $100, $200 tournaments, $50 tournaments. With the main event this weekend is going to be $600, and then we have the Boss coming up next week, starting next week, which is going to be the higher buy-in tournaments, the bigger online series of poker. And then right when we wrap that up, we roll right into we have High Five, which is a play on smoking weed. We have 420 breaks in April. We have a big, it's a whole big thing in April. So another tournament starting out that's going to finalize in the Venom, which is going to be again the $5 million PKO. And then we have another big promotion that we'll be coming out with that's going to be for, kind of like the Moneymaker Tour type feel. It's going to be able to, everybody can play it, everybody can afford it, and we're going to change some people's lives doing it. And that's really, at the end of the day, one of the things I'm excited about is, one of the best things at PokerStars that we did was this Moneymaker Tour, was going on $86 tournaments. You
Right.
win a seat to play in a $25,000 buy-in event. So when I was talking with ACR, it's like, that's one of the things I really enjoyed. And it's like, I got you. We're gonna do something similar to that. And so we're gonna be coming out with a promotion that's going to change some people's lives, and we're really excited about that. And we'll be announcing that here in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. It sounds like such a great opportunity, a great venture. What do you feel like? So do you feel like when the world becomes, I don't even know if there is a normal anymore. I mean, this is unfortunately what our normal is, but when the world becomes somewhat of a semblance of what it was back in 2019, do you see yourself, now that America's Cardroom is here, obviously it's great to be able to play in your backyard. Sounds like the Moneymaker Tour will eventually get to a live version, right? And so you'll be able to travel a little bit more. Do you feel like you will travel a little bit, but maybe closer to home? Or do you feel like it'll be primarily online? What do you think the kind of future will be?
Future, I mean, obviously the future is going to be streaming. As you can see, I've actually got a setup here to start streaming. So there's going to be streaming in my future. But also, yeah, once we hopefully are able to venture back out and play in a live setting, which playing live poker is phenomenal. I love playing live poker. So I do want to get out and do it again. Yes, there's going to be some form of the Moneymaker Tour. Um, you know, don't exactly know what it's going to look like as far as schedule and date, but I would say the majority of it's going to be more US based. um the one thing that I won't be doing as much of is traveling internationally. At the end of the day, that's what was the most difficult, was traveling internationally all the time, because it takes a day or two to get there, a day or two to get
Right.
home, your clock
Right.
gets messed up. So it ends up being, you play for 3 days but you're gone for over a week just for
Right.
the travel time and everything else. Where if I'm doing it domestically, it's just so much easier just to get in, out, get home.
No
So I,
language barriers, if that was the case, or things of that nature.
yeah,
And
that never really bothered me too much, but it was really just the time. Like if I'm going to Australia, obviously that's a 14-day adventure of
right.
to play poker for a couple days. So I just expect more domestic stuff. And
Yep.
um, honestly, one of the things that really I want to do, just for me personally, is I would love to find spots to where I can bring my family and make it a family oriented. That's one thing I really loved about the PCA, was
Yeah.
bringing my family down there and letting them experience things. And I've got to travel and see the world. So going forward, if I were to do anything internationally, I want to, like, I got the opportunity in 2019 to bring my family to Australia.
Hmm.
That they wanted me to fly me down first class and bring me down and do this whole thing. I said, well, instead of flying me first class, I'll fly coach. Just fly the rest of my family down. And we took an extra week down there. We stayed in Australia, and we really had just a phenomenal family vacation after I got done with all my work.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to look for experiences like that. So I'm going to try
Right.
and find opportunities where I can run a Moneymaker Tour, but also bring the family along and let them see the world and experience it more. Something I really didn't do as much when they were younger, but now that they're older and they can experience it and they can really get out and understand these things, I want to be able to provide that for them. And also, it's just nice to have them with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, a couple of questions that I think some people will have with regards to ACR. Um, uh, with regards to the games, obviously No Limit Hold'em, but what other games does ACR have?
Basically, ACR has every game that you're used to online. So they're going to have, No Limit Hold'em, Pot Limit Omaha, Omaha High Low, Stud Eight. I'm really pushing to get an 8-game mix going. That's one of my big things. Is I want
Deuce to seven. Deuce to seven. Come on.
It will be in the mix. It'll be in the
Hey,
mix.
there you go. There you go.
I'm a big mixed game player. I love playing mixed games, and that's what I used to always grind was mixed games. So I want to get the mixed game movement going on ACR. I want to get those mixed game tournaments going. I want to offer, when you look at the schedule right now on ACR, we do a fantastic job on the no limit side. I mean, obviously there's no limit tournaments nonstop.
Right.
We're lacking on the PLO and the mixed game stuff. So
sure,
that's the area that we need to expand our tournament repertoire with. There's other people that are smarter than me about the timing of these things and how we can maximize that stuff. But I'm still pushing to get my mixed games in and to get more varieties and not just play no limit all the time.
Sure, absolutely. And it's exciting. Obviously, like you talked about, there's more exciting news coming up. The 5 million Venom progressive knockout will be coming in April as well. And, it's a really exciting venture for you. I'm really pleased for you, and that's all worked out. And you're able to do this more from home and be with the family. And that's great. That's fantastic.
Well, thanks, Bernard. It's been a wild ride, that's for sure. And I'm sure, again, this is 14 years for you. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more because I'll be at home and I'll be free, and you'll need a guest. So,
I need a guest. I need a guest. Who do I call? Oh, Chris.
Yeah. Okay. There's a reason I'm always on the show. No, I'm always available.
There you go.
So I'm sure we'll be talking more, and as we start doing things going out into the world again. I'm sure I'll be back on the show telling you all the new things that we have coming up. And I'm sure as we release these new promotions, it's something I definitely want to come on the show and talk about and let people know how they can be involved and what they can win and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll give away some fun stuff as well when you come on. And we really appreciate it. 2003 World Series main event champion and really the face of America's Card Room and one of their ambassadors, Mr. Chris Moneymaker. Thanks again for coming on the show, my friend.
It's an honor and a pleasure, Bernard. Go hit them good. Have a good time on the links. I'm going to go play some online poker, trying to finish up my stream station so I can actually stream. So
I appreciate it. Chris Moneymaker here on the Bernard Lee Poker Show. Listen, go to America's Card Room and you can play with the champ himself. Stay tuned. We are closing in on our 14th anniversary, as Chris had alluded to as well. And as always, may you always go in with the best hand, and may you never get unlucky. Good night, everybody.